How to Day Trade for Living by Andrew Aziz. How to Day Trade for Living is a recent book which I happened to come across on Kindle Unlimited. So I read it. It doesn't take you much, like how to day trade for a living is just like it will take you 20 minutes or 30 minutes to read it. It looks like a self-published book by an author, and basically it's aimed at day traders. So if you're a day trader, you might find some useful ideas in this particular book. I will go through a little bit introduction of chapter by chapter for you to get an understanding of this particular book. The author also has a YouTube channel and a website, so you can have a more look at in detail about his trades. So basically all the day traders use a similar kind of a strategy, or at least the good day traders I know of, they use a similar kind of a strategy, and those kind of setups and ideas which and the kind of tools they use are covered in this particular book. The book itself is like basically written from a perspective of a trader who's actually doing the day trading. So it's not a book which goes into great details into theory of the market or short-term moves and why do they happen. It's basically a practical application of day trading techniques. There are certain shortcomings also in this book, which are basically, it's like as I said, looks like it's self-published, so it's not been edited properly. There are grammatical mistakes, there are spelling errors. So those are some of the things which obviously for something which is a person whose main occupation is trading, you can't expect that person to be doing a good job of some of these things. But if you overlook those things, you can get some really good setup ideas or ideas about how day traders work. And you can also see his trades which he puts up daily on the YouTube channel. So let's have a look at chapter by chapter and some of the, I'm not going to go into great details, but just give you an overview. It should not take you more than 20 minutes to read this book. Like I just saw it on Kindle Unlimited. It was #1 ranked book currently in trading and investment. So I just downloaded it and I read it in 20 minutes. So basically it has some introduction about difference between day trading and swing traders. Basically day traders look to open a position and close a position within the same day, while swing traders can hold a position anywhere between 3 to a few months, at times more than that. And basics of like what really the day traders are trying to do, and what are the complexities they are facing as retail trader versus institutional traders. So some of those things which he glances over basically. And the basic thing about this the thing is like what he talks about is the setup ideas is what you can get from this thing. Now if you look at the other things, which is like basically how to find stocks for trades, and this will be useful if you're a new day trader or you're somebody who's starting out. One of the things which is used by most day traders, or that's their bread and butter strategy, is basically stocks in play or stocks in news. Because if you are a day trader, you want to be in a stock which has something which is a fresh catalyst for that day. So you are guaranteed for that particular day that stock is going to make either a big move to the upside or a downside. Because if there is a big move to the upside or a downside, or if there is a volatile move to the upside and downside during the day, then day traders can make money. So the crux of like one of the setups which is used by most of the day traders, and I know a lot of day traders, is basically stocks in play, or stocks which are fresh news. And how you can find stocks in place, there is a scan idea which is shared, which is basically look for stock which is up 2% in pre-market on a 50,000 plus volume. Then float and market cap, basically like the point which he makes is like low float stocks are difficult to trade for day traders because you may not have enough liquidity, or they might not have enough volume. So you can like go through this in terms of like, this is basically his criteria for selecting stocks, or like some of the filters which he uses in this particular thing. Crux of his methodology is based on finding pre-market gappers, the stocks which are up 2% plus and 50,000 plus volume, or down 2% plus and 50,000 volume, and then try and find setups in those particular stocks, because if anything is up 2% plus, there is likely to be a news, and especially if it is up on a 50,000 plus volume. So it comes in play with the stocks in place kind of a thing. Real-time intraday scans, he uses trade ideas, which is used by most of the day traders. They all use the similar kind of tools. Trade ideas has a lot of scans and based on basically planning the trade based on scanners. So he talks about all these things in this particular chapter. What brokers to use. Basically, if you're an active day trader, you might need a stock broker, which is a direct. These are called direct access brokers, or brokers who basically are faster at executing things, and which they have some other benefits, like you can create hotkeys and you can do other things. So he talks about a broker which he uses and why he uses that particular broker, and what kind of trading platform he uses, and real-time market data, NASDAQ level 2, what kind of indicators he uses, and hotkeys. Basically, because if you're day trading multiple times in a day, you can't be really like, you need to use hotkeys to create an order, put a stop, or close an order, so that you can just like quickly react to things. So then basically goes into a little bit of things about candlestick, very basic things about candlestick, which anybody who is in the market will know most of these things. Trade management and position sizing. Again, it doesn't really go into much of a details into that. But some of the setups which he uses are basically the same set of setups which are used by most of the day traders, which is ABCD pattern, bull flag, and momentum. If a stock has a momentum, intraday momentum, it starts going up, then it will have a bull flag. Then reversal trading, which is basically a stock goes down or goes down a lot, and then it reverses intraday. These are very common kind of setups used by day traders. Moving average trend trading, VWAP trading, which is again another very common technique used by day traders, where basically they look for support or pull back to a VWAP, or if a stock is above a VWAP, then they might short sell it so that it might come back to the VWAP level. Support and resistance, red to green trading, so stock which is basically down turning to red, and all these things will require scanners like trade ideas, because you can't really do these kind of things without scanners. Opening range breakout, which is very popular trading technique for many years, and other strategies. So what does he do in terms of process, how he builds a watch list, then what is his trading plan in terms of entry, exit, and stop loss, and how he executes his trade. And then there are certain other things in terms of his fundamental things, which are like basically not really great rules, but they're just like feelers for the book. So all in all, if you're a beginner day trader, or just wanting to learn a little bit about day trading, there's a book for you for that. It's not a very expensive book. I don't think I read it for free on the Kindle Unlimited, because on Kindle Unlimited you just pay I think $9 per month, and then you get to read many books free. So I don't even remember the price of this book, but it was one of the #1 ranked books, so that's why I got into reading it. It will take you 20 minutes to read, but it will give you some ideas about the commonly used trading techniques by day traders, and it might help you learn something. You can also see his YouTube channel, Andrew Aziz. If you search for, you'll find under his name, you'll find his channel, and that channel is where every day I think he posts his results after the end of the day. And also I think he has a website which he writes about in the book, which is, at least in the book says, is free, but after the book was published, now it's a paid site, so you can have a look at it. You don't have to really get into the subscription of that, but you can just go through his videos to understand his technique and maybe learn. And the 20 minutes which you'll spend reading this book can probably help you find 1 or 2 good ideas for day trading, or set up ideas if you're a day trader. So this book, How to Day Trade for a Living, currently is ranked #1 for whatever reason. And I think for a day traders, you can always pick up few things from any trading book